Okay, so I had a game. I feel like I've done a pretty good job of working on
Three, two,
exactly what I wanted to work on with my Reinhardt. So I've had this follow-up game um, on Dorado. Dorado's pretty hard map to make Reinhardt work. I could have tried it, but honestly, there's so much high ground control. You can just see on this first point. And maybe as a defender, that isn't too big of a deal. But there's one. Actually, I bet the easier way to one, two, three, kind of four with bridge, five with this ledge, six if you count up there. There's six immediate high grounds. I mean, obviously the main ones are one, two, three, five, and four technically. But there's so much high ground here that Reinhardt just does not have access to. So let's say now they were to play a Farah like they are doing, and I was on Reinhardt, I would be sitting down main, or if they decide to play a quicker comp or they try to play Monkey, what they could easily do is just, while I'm playing down main here on this corner, because that's probably where I'd be if I wasn't up here, their Monkey would simply just jump up to here and then dive on my backline. Um, and if I decided to play up here, yes, I'd get value, but I wouldn't get value in the sense of I'm doing something. I'd be getting value in the hope that I am enabling this person and this person and this person and maybe even a little bit of this person. Um, so obviously in this situation the Winston just makes so much more sense because I need the high ground control, and also being a one trick player, let me just check I'm recording, I am. Being a one trick player doesn't actually really provide any sort of value in the grander schemes of things. If you're a one trick player, the likelihood is if you get picked up, the likelihood is the furthest you're ever going to make it is contenders, and that is if you are the best. um that is only if you are the very number one, tippity top best person in the entire world at that hero. Maybe not the entire world, but at that hero. A great example is Yazin. Um, maybe going on a little bit of a tangent here, but if we go to leaderboard and we go to damage, Yazin Sar 3, Yazin Sar 7, Yazin Sar 19, and Yazin Sar. He has got four accounts in the top 10, and if we get on the list, I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see even more Yazan Sar accounts because I know he has many. Um, and again, we just go back here. Farah, number one played hero on all of these. He has branched out, and I believe, yeah, he does play a little bit of Echo nowadays. Look, rank 1, obviously currently rank 1, rank 5, rank 1. He is a perfect example of somebody who, yes, you can do these things, but the furthest Yazin will ever make it will be contenders because he doesn't have a diverse enough hero pool. And especially now where there's only one tank, it is more than important that you are able to play these heroes to a like a very, very high pedigree. If I was to try and push for Overwatch League or Open Division or contenders, I would need a diverse hero pool. I'd need to be able to play Winston to a top 100 standard. I would need to play Reinhardt to a top 100 standard. I'd need to play Sigma, Diva, Zarya. Everything in the tank category besides maybe a Roadhog would need to be to a top 100 standard minimum just to be able to put myself in the realms of being worth picking up. And maybe not necessarily all of them. Um, There are some players who still stick to the off-tank heroes, because those are what they're used to playing in Overwatch 1, which means that they've still got the mechanics in their foundation, or they still understand, they have a better understanding immediately of how these heroes work. Um, so in that regard, but the top tank players, um, people that come to mind are Hardy, um, a few people anyway, and they're able to play everything. So a small little tangent there, but it's very important that I branch out and I don't just play one hero. Reinhardt is very strong right now, so it's very possible for me to make Reinhardt work everywhere, and I am confident in myself and my understanding of the hero to be able to make Reinhardt work everywhere. But would be so much easier if there was, for an example, if there was a 3.2, or like I guess in Overwatch 1 terms, if there's like a Diamond 2 or Diamond 3 Reinhardt on this map going against me with a Diamond 4 standard Winston, there is a very good possibility that I could still take it despite being the worst tank player because I have the map advantage with this hero. So, having said all of this, how does Winston work? Well, dive similar to Brawl. There's a system that is spoken about. So if we were to break it down into graphs, I say a system spoke about. Mick has showed me a little visual explanation. If we were to make 3 graphs, I believe there's a typing function on this somewhere. Is there a text? There should be text. Eraser. Okay, I guess there isn't. So we call this dive. We call this poke. We call this brawl. Okay. So, how do each of these work? Well, if this is time and this is power, so upwards is time, here is power, how do each of these compositions work? Well, poke works in a slow, gradual build-up that eventually begins to pick up. And as you can see, we start to peak over time. The more time we have, the more power we get. I guess this is time and this is power. So over time, it still goes up. It still makes sense, but it takes a while for us to begin to hit this moment here. Whereas dive may look something like this, where it's nothing, 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 a lot of something. If we don't win the fight, then it goes back down to nothing, 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 a lot of something, nothing, nothing. And you can argue, I believe it was the exact same with Brawl, where it's a lot of nothing and nothing, we're not in Brawl range, everything, and then nothing, nothing, stabilizing, stabilizing, everything, nothing, nothing. So this is the core fundamentals to how these things work. We're currently playing dive. We've got Winston. Though we can output a little bit of pressure, and there may be a little spike there or a little spike there with soft engages. The fundamentals are Winston has to land on a target's head with his jump. It's a burst of damage. So and then we get into the specifics of not just dive, Winston. What is Winston good at? So if we look at his kit, he has jump. So how do we work this? So we need a right to engage. We look at the enemy team. We need a right to engage. What is a right to engage? Well, Anna being isolated with no cooldowns. No cooldowns. So Anna is an easy dive target because she isn't very mobile. Now, she is only a good dive target when she is down sleep and anti. We can maybe make the argument that when she's just down sleep and still has anti, she's still a good dive target. But it is still a risky play. What do we have on their team that is diveable? Well, Torbjorn isn't very diveable. He has a shotgun. He has overclock. These things make him hard. He's even got a bit of armor, which just makes it even harder. Winston has got low damage over time. They've got a Lucio who's very mobile. If we land a direct on him while he is on the floor, which is an opportunity to land on him, maybe. Ana is the biggest dive target. Their Farah does not have a mercy pocket, which makes things a lot easier as well, which means that we can probably just pressure fire out with our alternate fire. Sigma, a lot of HP, not diveable, ever. Never dive a tank. Unless the tank is legitimately 2 corners away from support and in your backline where you can just jump on them, drop a bubble on their head to even further secure the fact that their support isn't going to be able to do anything to help them. In which case, maybe jump on the tank if they're really, really out of position. So that is the fundamentals. Oh, and also you use bubble to stay in position while you get jump in. So you jump in, you land on their head. We do a combo, so as you land, you melee them, which does about 130 damage, if at max, I believe. Which essentially gives you 3 seconds to get the kill. You use bubble to prolong how long you can stay there. You bubble dance, so you go in, and I guess that's out, that's in. But you go in and out of bubble using the shield to keep yourself safe while you go for your engage. If you don't get the kill, whatever, you jump back to safety. So if Anna was playing here, we jump down, we drop our bubble, we bubble dance in and out, in and out. We don't land the kill, we jump back up to the safety of high ground, we get in position to be healed. These are the fundamentals of Winston. Now, what I noticed earlier is our Kiriko is not in position. The things that I need to be looking at is, before every fight, I should look at, where's my Ana? Where's my Kiriko? Where's my DPS? Who can follow up on things? So I need to be seeing, is Ana in LOS? I do this a lot with the dive heroes specifically because it's such a fast engage, and sometimes I feel the need to overextend to get to where I need to be. So I will think that I need to go now where I can't dive on this stack coming out of spawn, or while they're just about pushing onto cart, that's not a diveable position because they're so stacked, it's not possible. So what I need to be looking out for here is that I'm staying in LOS of Ana when I dive, because I feel as if already this is what I'm looking at. I don't know. I feel as if I didn't check where my team was before I started.
Attackers incoming.
Looking up for Farah. I hear a Lucio below me. There we go, spotted the Farah. Okay. Just allowed a few seconds to play out. So now I should be looking, where's Ana? There's Ana. So we can confidently say we know where their entire team is. Their Lucio is on high ground. Their Farah is in the sky. And we know that their core is here. So we've got a rough idea of where everything is now. We know where our Ana is. If we drop down here, I should recognize the fact that my Ana can see what I'm doing down there. And I should also recognise the fact that there's a turret there, which is going to make diving very hard. I'm going to allow this to play out for a few seconds, because I'm going to have to think quite hard about this, because this game really challenged me mentally, because I did try and think of how to deal with this situation, but I really could not come up with an answer. So I take a lot of early damage. I just jump back to the core. I wasn't looking at where Ana was playing, which made her rotate. I was in a safe position there, really. And actually now, Farah has got free access to this high ground, where she can actually just land here, recharge up, potentially peek Anna. Okay, now, if I hadn't have moved back as well, if I'd been watching where my Anna was, I would see right now that their Anna, even if it is just a few meters, is split off. So I could have short jumped onto low ground, stayed in LOS of my Anna up here, pressured out this Anna, whether that was just getting a sleep out or if that was getting a nade out, and jumped straight back up and maintained this position. And that would have set up a crossfire where if we held this position with my Anna up here and me up here and then my core up here, they're not going to be pressured out by one Lucio, which I was scared of. And if we still control all of these high grounds give us full control of so much space. We control everything up to here. If we have people on all three high grounds, then this entire space that they want to push through, we control. Even with the Sigma shield, we can just rotate and spread out and maintaining all this position. But now, even though yes, we control all of this because of our sight lines, their Anna is now in a safe position. This is all we control. Anna can stay here and still provide very, very efficient sightlines. And if I actually go to check now what their Anna can see, I guarantee Sigma and yeah. So that's something that I should have been looking at. And that's something that I should have maybe thought about. If I had have checked where Anna was playing, I would have known safe position to stay in. Do I still have bubble? I do still have bubble. I could have stayed there longer by popping bubble. And even though it's not ideal, the space that I'm creating for my team is much more important in this situation. So that's just mistake number one. Again, lacking awareness for where my team is playing, but also lacking awareness for cover and positional play. I need to hold this space to create these advantages. I think I was maybe holding on to bubble for that. I jump over. I have now just dropped down onto a Torbjorn Anna with a turret. How has Sigma ended up here? Oh no, okay, I thought it was on high ground. I'm not watching where my Anna is, again, I've just dropped down, no support whatsoever. And my Anna does provide, I mean, it's just DPS have just carried me and my supports have came in and won me the fight. I go back up to this high ground. I should know that there's no ultimates in play here, so we just take this fight the exact same as last. Try and pressure out the Sigma a little bit, and now Farah actually has decided to go take a wider angle. Okay. So Torbjorn has decided to put turret on this wide angle. We just wait. We just continue to wait. There's such a big disconnect right now between supports and tank that even if they push this cart right all the way up here, if we go punish this backline, which we can go punish this backline, because we still have the core foundations in which to punish this, then we should still get a free fight win. What I think we're going to see is I go back to this mentality of payload matters and stressing about payload pushing under bridge, when what I should be worrying about is what's going on underneath me. And I think maybe even we might rush this engage, even though we have over half of the point left to push. So I drop down on Anna. And I force out anti. Back up. Okay. Right, let me just... So I believe that Anna's just used sleep. And anti. But I get too scared to chase because Bubble dies. That was a free kill on Anna. She had no cooldowns whatsoever. If I had just walked through here, if I just look at Anna, she's always got nade. Oh wait, this is pre-nade.
Helping you out.
It's a free kill. She doesn't. We know she doesn't have sleep. That's why I engaged on her because I heard her pop sleep. Oh no, sorry. We know she doesn't have sleep because she tried to use it on me. We know she doesn't have nade, and I still have 332 HP compared to her 62. Even if her DPS is a little bit higher than mine, that should still be a free kill. Now, if I am going to disengage, what I should be looking at is where is my team? My team is here. My team is here. These might be a little bit harder to spot, but this over here should be an instant trigger in my mind. If I'm backing out because I'm scared, which I shouldn't be, if I'm backing out because I'm scared because I don't have bubble anymore and I'm out of position, then a jump up to this high ground is what I should be doing. But I'm still not looking at where my team is, and actually I'm about to go dive for Farah. Is Farah diveable in any circumstance? No, Farah is not diveable in any circumstance, especially not when she has Concussion Blast and Jetpack. I'm not looking for engage opportunities. I'm not looking for a right to engage with my engagements. Sometimes you are forced. In this position, I managed to pressure out Anna, and I didn't use my jump, though. That was the key thing. Even if I had been slept and antied, I had free positioning to go back up to. That might not be perfect, but it forces something out of Anna, and if I force those cooldowns out, Bubble is actually on a short cooldown, so I can then drop back down sooner than she will have those abilities again, and be able to recontest. I believe it's a short cooldown. But in any case, I should have chased, and then I could have jumped back up to here. And at this point, if I'd done that, cart would maybe be here, somewhere along to there. And once they're down there, Anna, their Farah isn't really in any sort of position to do much. Their Lucio isn't in any sort of position to do much. It would have just been a simple collapse onto what is right now 5 separate entities. We have an Anna 1 playing in this building. We have a Lucio completely isolated. We have a Farah completely isolated. We have these two isolated together, which is the hardest thing to dive. But thankfully for us, we have a very easy dive target, which we should have followed up on. I got scared again, and that has led to what I believe is going to be a team fight loss because I've just died. So I tried to dive, and I just get punished for it. And now we're down 3. Well, down 2, because Becca got picked.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Okay, I'm now alone on high ground. Their Farah has a lot of control. Farah is not dead. Okay. When their Farah is pushing aggressively like that, was I looking to land these shots? When Farah's pushing aggressively, I should be looking to pressure her, especially when she is without a mercy. In any case. Their Tor Banana. I already know what happens here, actually. I remember what happens here. Their Tor Banana are stacking on cart right now. I need to turn around and look at where my Ana is playing. Okay, she's pushing up. She's trying to take space. We're all now stacking on this high ground.
Do something.
We bob down onto point. Okay. Let's just watch this from first person perspective. I get rocked. I spot the Ana and Torb isolated. I push Ana away. Did I land my jump? I think I missed this jump. I don't quite land my jump, which is so important for a Winston, is to land this jump. Because if you don't land on their heads, then the likelihood is you're not going to get the kill no matter what happens. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tunnel vision on this Torbjorn, because Torbjorn is the closest possible target to me. When in reality, what I should recognise is they don't really have any diveable targets bar Ana, but the Lucio, who went on the floor, is a diveable target. Now, rather than looking at Torbjorn, who is in bubble, what I should do is I should think, okay, we're not going to get these two people. These two people are too far out and open. Well, maybe not Torbjorn, but Torbjorn is going to have an Ana peel. We know that. So if Ana is currently covering for this and Bubble is there, I should be looking, who's the next dive target? It's not Sigma. Sigma isn't a dive target. Who is the next dive target? The next dive target is Lucio. I need to, in my mind, once I know compositions, create a dive structure. So we label it from 1 to 5. So Ana is 1, Lucio is 2, Farah is kind of 3, Torbjorn is 4, Sigma is 5. And even though I would say that loosely we only really have 2 dive targets, this is the order of things that we want to be on. If we can't get on Ana, then we're looking at Lucio. If we can't get on Lucio, then we're looking to get on Fire. If we can't get on Fire, then we're looking to get on Torbjorn. If we can't get on Torbjorn, then we're looking to get on Sigma. That's the order of things. And realistically, we should only be trying to get on Sigma when he's the only person left, or when he is legitimately the only person available because it's an overtime fight. So right now, I'm not looking at the right order of people. I'm just diving on what is easiest. And now I'm going to try and chase. And we see Lucio get punished. But it would have been much easier to just go on the Lucio ourselves. Now, as for this jump that I just watched as well, this is pre-nano.
My ultimate is up. Enemy turrets down.
Okay. Okay, alright. So I'm looking for a jump just back to safety. Potentially I spot that my Ana is in danger, but I don't think I do. I think I'm just going for a random chase now. Or for just a random reset. When it is perfectly viable for me to land here and be aggressive with my space taking. I know where my Ana's playing, so I know that if I sit up here, Ana is free to heal me. I can simply poke and push people back and maybe even force a sleep. And if I do force a sleep early, this is a safe position to be slept on. And even if I do get concussive down and rocked, I can just jump back up to high ground where I know I'll be safe, and we just disengage. We just take a few steps back, and we're now completely safe from LOS. And we're currently level as well. It might be a DPS to a support trade, which is always favourable. We are still down. We are still level. But maybe just be a little bit more aggressive with my space taking is the note as well, because I would have followed up on fire there if I had have been.
Sword for you. On the move.
Our turret's broken, and Anna's a diveable target.
Justice reigns from above.
Was Anna a diveable target? Okay, alright, let's look at this from bird's eye view. Control I. Let's slow this down because I want to see this slow.
Het universum zingt voor mij!
Alright, so I spot Anna.
Justice reigns.
Okay, I tunnel vision a little bit on the Anna. The enemy Sigma is fluxing, which means that my backline is in no position to peel, which means that I should not be pushing. Whether or not I couldn't recognize this in the moment. In this situation, it's not a counter dive scenario, because there is no counter diving a flux. He is fluxing. It does 50% health damage, and he is inevitably going to lift somebody in the backline, which means that my support's attention is going to be divided. I have now just jumped in to a 3v1, and because my Kiriko has blindly followed me in, it is now a 3v2 against a barrage. They are currently double ulting. I have rushed this engagement, despite being down a player and despite them popping ults earlier. And now I am punished for it. My Kiriko is punished for it. My Ana just about not punished for it. But we're down a tank and a support, which means this fight is over.
Your eyes.
And now this is where I make a swap onto D.Va. When the Winston is a perfectly viable option. I believe I do go back onto the Winston, which is why I'm going to just skip through this because I want to work on one hero at a time, or maybe two heroes, so that'll be the Winston and the Reinhardt. Right now, I'm still kind of working on the same things for the Rhine,
Ready for battle.
and just trying to really get those to a standard that I can enjoy, or that I can say is where it needs to be.
Attackers incoming.
Okay. So
Stop
attacking.
the payload.
Let's just look at this really quick. Their team do not have a tank. They do not have a turret. They do not have an Ana. They're kind of playing two undiveable DPS. But if we were to go back to the same thing earlier, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. The Rhine does make things difficult in this situation because diving a Reinhardt, diving a Torbjorn, and diving a Mei, those three people are going to be stacking. But if we are forcing an Ana and a Mei to stack together, we're immediately getting value. Because these people should not be stacked together like this. The support should be stacked together. The Torbjorn can justifiably stack. Mei should be with Reinhardt at all times in brawl range. If Mei isn't in brawl range, Mei is not getting enough value, which means that we are to some degree taking value away. Let's look how they set up, and let's look how we set up. Now, what I'm doing right now is absolutely awful. Because rather than jumping up to this high ground, I have all cooldowns. I have bubble, I have 550, 600 HP. I should legitimately immediately out of spawn jump onto this high ground, see what they're playing. If I take immediate heat, I drop bubble, that's another 700 HP. I look at what they're playing, and if they're playing something dangerous that is going to spam me out, then I just back up to here, and now this high ground will become devalued. The best option here, I think, or the best thing that I could have done now was jump up to here, and I could have scouted. I could have seen nothing on this high ground, only stuff on this high ground, and maybe some stuff rotating there. And I might have even seen the fact that our Anna has actually just landed the biggest anti of her entire life, and I might have been able to jump up and take this high ground for free, which would have meant that Echo could just simply fly straight up. And now we have our Anna and our Kiriko on low ground. Our Widow now has just completely going to contest this Mei, and if this Mei knows what's good for her, she will not peek that. And we can probably end up holding this whole high ground because we'll have our supports in a safe position while we pressure their backline, and their Reinhardt will have no choice but to walk away. But we don't do any scouting, which means that we are currently down the information. We're lacking the critical information we need, and we dive the Mei. Where do we rank Mei? We ranked Mei 4th on the dive list. So we've just now dived a Mei. 4th on the dive list. Only one step down from a Reinhardt, by the way. Okay, now. We want to push this Mei off to secure high ground. But right now, their Reinhardt is contesting our backline, and I'm doing nothing. So, again, a bit of scouting would tell me, and just not even scouting at this point, using my eyes would tell me, Mei up here, don't challenge Mei. Nothing up here, contest high ground. Whoa! There is nothing in any of this space making me not want to contest this space. I jump up to here. I even go for a little peek around these steps, and I can see that there's an Anna, a Zen, and a Torbjorn here. Now with this information, what I can do is I can M2 into these people and maybe force a nade. If I force a nade, that means that I've potentially got a dive opportunity coming up. I can come into bridge and I can pressure this Anna, I can pressure Torb turret, I can pressure Torb, I can pressure backline, I can pressure Reinhardt. And now from this high ground as well, what we've gathered is Anna can now go for a long rotation around the back. And even if she doesn't, this is a lot of pan. And even if she doesn't, okay, all right, let's get a real bird's eye view here. Anna can just make this free rotation all the way up, and now she has high ground. Wonderful. Our Echo accesses that for free. Our Kiriko accesses that for free. Our Widow accesses that for free. We take this fight. Not even a concern. Games will be harder than this, but this fight is the freest fight that I'll potentially ever have in a diamond lobby. And I am going to throw this away because I refuse to do a bit of scouting. And now we know for a fact that there's not even a singular person trying to challenge this high ground. Mei's going to come back up. I'm going to pressure her out again. And I'm still playing stagnant. I have every 5 seconds the ability to traverse the entire map with one left shift click for free. And I am still staying on a high ground that is providing my team nothing. We already control this space at this point. This is already owned area. And look, their Mei is now actually even looking to come challenge this high ground. If I was here, if I was playing in this position, and my Kiriko TP'd up to me, this Mei wouldn't be able to challenge this high ground, and now we have full high ground control for free. And Kiriko can just push cart up to corner, and then we probably end up finding a pick off of just having high ground. And we do find a pick, which means that we're up one, which means that dive target number 3 is now dead. And if I'd held this high ground for a little bit longer, if I'd held it a little bit more aggressively, these two squishies back here would either be forced out or would be dead. Anna doesn't even have sleep now. She's going to land that. Is she? Yeah, she's probably going to land that, but yeah, she does land it. But she doesn't have a singular cooldown right now. But I fed, and now I'm playing in a position to be brawled on by Mei. I don't know. That wall was insane, but they're Reinhardt. They're now down the two things that made this impossible to dive, and I'm still sitting here stagnant, waiting for something else to happen. What more do I want? I jump on the Anna 2 seconds after she's already dead. I legitimately sat AFK for so long that the only dive target that was left was the tank. Now I decide to try and take high ground, where there is no possible way that I am ever going to hold this. There is no support where I'm playing. And even if we call this scouting, the most scouting that we're going to do is, oh, that is a Zenyatta who's just Discord and volleyed me, and now I have to jump back and maybe even use bubble.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Now we've got a bit of positioning. I just jumped into Reinhardt's face. I don't even have to analyze this any longer. I know exactly what my issues are without even having to continue this VOD review. I don't have to finish this map. I mean, it took 42 minutes, but the proof is in the pudding right now. It is so very, very obvious to me exactly what the mistakes that I'm making are, that it's unreal. Okay. Awareness, what's the state of the fight? Still need this. Gonna have to rewrite this because the adhesive is actually running out. I'm taking that long to work on this. Don't be scared. Still not doing that. In the right times. In the right times, I'm not being scared. Awareness, where is your team? Can they follow up / support? Not doing that. And it's easier said than done on Brawl, because sometimes I will just, I see that as a Rhine note. That's not just a Rhine note though. And that's what I'm starting to see is that I'm having reoccurring issues, the same issues on all the heroes, just in different ways. Like with Queen, and it's actually, I would say even the same with Queen though, because with Queen I was ulting in, which is equivalent to diving in a position where team was not able to support. Don't rush when defending, stay in good position. Perfect example of that flux, that I wasn't doing that. But I think just the easiest way of going over this would be have a right to engage. Have a right to do that. Not, I'm seeing the target a little bit isolated, so I guess I'm going to jump on it. Have a real right to engage on it. So, have a right to engage CDs. Can get rid of that. My shoot supports quite a bit. Who's diveable 1 to 5. I'm gonna have to rewrite some of these notes because they're falling off consistently. So in games, I need to remember, like, once I know that composition, who's diveable, who's the most diveable, 1 to 5. Awareness, what's the state of the fight? State of fight. Yeah. And then where are supports? With an exclamation mark as well, just to like really nail that home. Where are supports? Can they follow up? It's all well and good to be like, Moira is in LOS right now, but a Moira does not have range. If a Kiriko's in LOS but it's 100 meters away, I'm not getting support immediately. That's just a fact of it. She might TP to me, but now I'm feeding making a Kiriko TP to me. I'll throw Suzu to me when she wants to save that for people that are gonna need it, like a team that gets antied, or a team that's set on fire by Dynamite, or a Shatter, or Blizzard, or Terra Surge, or simply dive by Doomfist. So these are like very simple things that I'm just fundamentally lacking, but I think these are honestly such easy changes that I can make. I just need to really, really hammer these home. But I think once we make these changes, we can easily say that I'm pushing up to mid diamond, maybe. Um, at the very least, that means that we can become a stable, consistent diamond player. But yeah, that is my most recent soft VOD.